Let me ask you something. How many times have you let someone walk all over you? How many times have you stayed silent when you should have spoken up? How many times have you chosen comfort over courage, safety over strength, and mediocrity over mastery? If you're like most people, the answer is too many. And here's the hard truth. The world doesn't reward weakness. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your fear. All it cares about is power. Nietzsche said it best. What is good? All that heightens the feeling of power, the will to power, power itself in man. And what is bad? All that proceeds from weakness. And Robert Greene, in his book, The 48 Laws of Power, put it even more bluntly. The world is a brutal place. People will take advantage of you if you let them. The only way to survive and thrive is to understand the rules of power and play the game better than anyone else. So, here's the question. Are you going to sit around hating the people who have power? The Trumps, the Musks, the Bezoses of the world? Or are you going to learn from them? Are you going to let your fear of conflict, your fear of failure, and your fear of standing out keep you small? Or are you going to rise above your weakness and claim your power? This video isn't about worshiping billionaires or politicians. It's about understanding the game they're playing and why you need to play it too. Because whether you like it or not, life is a power struggle. And if you're not actively seeking power, you're losing. So, let's talk about how to stop being weak, how to stop letting people walk all over you, and how to start building the kind of life that commands respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "I'm not a billionaire or a politician," let me stop you right there. This isn't about becoming Elon Musk or Donald Trump. It's about learning from them. It's about understanding how they play the power game and how you can apply those lessons to your own life, no matter where you're starting from. Because here's the thing. Power isn't just for the elites. It's for anyone who's willing to stop being weak and start taking control of their life. Let's start with Trump. Love him or hate him, the man is a walking case study in Nietzsche's will to power. Nietzsche said, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger." And Trump has turned that into his personal mantra. Every lawsuit, every indictment, every late-night tweet storm is just another obstacle he uses to fuel his narrative of the persecuted hero. And guess what? It works. His base doesn't just support him, they worship him. Why? Because he embodies power. He's the guy who looks at the system and says, "I don't just play the game, I rewrite the rules." Take the 2024 election. Trump's entire strategy is a masterclass in power dynamics. He doesn't care if you love him or hate him. He cares that you're talking about him. He thrives on resistance. When the media attacks him, he doesn't back down. He doubles down. When he's indicted, he turns it into a rallying cry. When he's criticized, he weaponizes it. That's Nietzsche 101. The will to power can only express itself against resistances. It seeks what resists it. And let's not forget his branding. Trump didn't just run for president. He created a movement. He turned his name into a symbol of power, defiance, and rebellion. Whether it's Trump Tower, Trump Steaks, or Trump NFTs, he's always selling the same thing, the idea that he's untouchable. And people buy it, literally and figuratively. That's power. But here's the kicker. Trump's power isn't just about controlling others. It's about controlling the narrative. He understands that in the modern world, perception is reality. If you can control the story, you can control the game. And that's a lesson we can all learn from. Now, let's talk about Elon Musk. If Trump is the political embodiment of Nietzsche's will to power, Musk is the business equivalent. The guy didn't buy Twitter, because it made him happy. He bought it because it gave him control. Control over the narrative, control over the discourse, control over one of the most influential platforms in the world. And when people criticized him, when they said he was overpaying, or that he'd run the company into the ground, he doubled down. He turned the resistance into fuel. Musk's entire career is a testament to Nietzsche's idea of self-overcoming. He didn't just build Tesla. He revolutionized the auto industry. He didn't just create SpaceX. He redefined space exploration. And he didn't just acquire Twitter. He turned it into a battleground for free speech. Every step of the way, he's faced resistance, skeptical investors, logistical nightmares, outright hostility from competitors, and every time, he's used that resistance to grow stronger. Take Tesla, for example. When Musk started the company, everyone said electric cars were a pipe dream. They said he was crazy. But instead of backing down, he leaned into the resistance. He turned Tesla into a symbol of innovation, sustainability, and cutting-edge technology. And now, Tesla is worth more than most traditional car companies combined. That's power. Or look at SpaceX. When Musk first announced his plans to colonize Mars, people laughed. They said it was impossible, but Musk didn't care. He used the resistance as motivation. He turned SpaceX into a leader in space exploration, and now he's closer than ever to making Mars colonization a reality. That's the will to power in action. And then there's Twitter. When Musk bought the platform, everyone said it was a mistake. They said he'd ruin it. But Musk didn't back down. He turned Twitter into a battleground for free speech. And whether you agree with his decisions or not, you can't deny that he's changed the game. That's power. Now, let's get philosophical. Nietzsche's idea of the will to power isn't just about dominating others. It's about self-mastery. It's about setting a goal, facing resistance, and using that resistance to grow. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just survive challenges, but thrives on them. Nietzsche called this process self-overcoming. It's the idea that true power comes from within. It's about constantly pushing yourself to be better, to do more, to achieve more. And in a world that's more competitive than ever, that's the only way to win. But Nietzsche wasn't the only thinker to explore this idea. Let's bring in another heavyweight, Arthur Schopenhauer, Nietzsche's philosophical predecessor. Schopenhauer argued that the fundamental force driving all life is what he called the will to live. This will, he said, is an insatiable, irrational force that drives us to strive, to struggle, and to overcome. Sounds familiar, right? Nietzsche took Schopenhauer's idea and cranked it up a notch. For Nietzsche, it wasn't just about survival, it was about growth. It wasn't just about enduring life's struggles. It was about embracing them as opportunities to become stronger. As Nietzsche put it, you must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star. In other words, the struggles, the setbacks, the chaos, they're not obstacles. They're the raw materials of greatness. And let's not forget Robert Greene, the modern-day Machiavelli. In the 48 Laws of Power, Greene echoes Nietzsche's philosophy when he writes, "Power is not what you have, but what others think you have." Greene's work is a practical guide to understanding and wielding power, but at its core, it's about self-mastery. It's about understanding the dynamics of human behavior and using that knowledge to elevate yourself. Greene's laws, like never outshine the master or conceal your intentions, aren't just about manipulating others. They're about mastering yourself. They're about understanding the game of power and playing it with precision and purpose. So, what does this mean for you? It means that power isn't just about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. It's about setting a goal, facing resistance, and using that resistance to grow. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just survive challenges, but thrives on them. Take Musk and Trump. They're not just playing the power game. They're rewriting the rules. They're not just facing resistance. They're using it to grow stronger. And that's what Nietzsche meant when he said, "What is good?" All that heightens the feeling of power, the will to power, power itself in man. This isn't just philosophical navel-gazing. This is about understanding the fundamental forces that drive human behavior and using that understanding to your advantage. Nietzsche's will to power, Schopenhauer's will to live, Greene's laws of power, they all point to the same truth. Life is a struggle, and the only way to win is to embrace that struggle, to use it as fuel, to turn your weaknesses into strengths and your obstacles into opportunities. Because in the end, power isn't just about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself, and that's the ultimate victory. Now, let's talk about you. Maybe you're not running for president or buying social media platforms, but you're still playing the power game, whether you realize it or not. Think about your career for a second. You think that promotion is going to the person who's the nicest, the one who always says yes, who never rocks the boat, who stays late to finish someone else's work. Think again. That promotion isn't going to the nice guy. It's going to the person who knows how to wield influence, who knows how to navigate the politics of the workplace, who knows how to turn obstacles into opportunities. That's power, and if you're not actively seeking it, you're falling behind. But let's get real for a moment. How many times have you stayed silent in a meeting when you should have spoken up? How many times have you let someone else take credit for your work because you didn't want to cause a scene? How many times have you avoided a difficult conversation because you were afraid of the fallout? If you're like most people, the answer is too many. And here's the hard truth. The workplace isn't a meritocracy. It's a battlefield. And if you're not playing to win, you're losing. Take networking, for example. You think it's just about making friends? Think again. Networking is about building alliances. It's about positioning yourself as someone who can get things done. It's about understanding the dynamics of power and using them to your advantage. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you reached out to someone in your industry just to check in? When was the last time you attended a conference, not just to learn, but to connect? When was the last time you thought strategically about who you know and who you need to know? Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you're up for a promotion, and the decision comes down to two people, you and someone else. Now, imagine that someone else has a mentor in the company, a sponsor who's advocating for them behind closed doors. Who do you think is going to get the job? The person with the mentor, right? That's power. And if you're not building those relationships, you're leaving your career to chance. Or take leadership. The best leaders aren't just nice, they're powerful. They know how to inspire, how to motivate, how to get people to follow them, and they know how to handle resistance. They don't back down from challenges, they embrace them. That's power. But here's the question. Are you a leader, or are you just a manager? Are you someone people follow because they have to, or because they want to? Are you someone who commands respect, or someone who just hopes to avoid conflict? Let's get even more personal. When was the last time you made a tough decision? One that might have upset people, but was the right thing to do? When was the last time you stood up for your team, even when it meant going against the grain? When was the last time you took a risk, not because it was safe, but because it was necessary? If you're struggling to answer these questions, it's time to take a hard look in the mirror. Because leadership isn't about being liked, it's about being respected. And respect comes from power. Now, let's talk about resistance. Nietzsche said, "The will to power can only express itself against resistances." In other words, challenges aren't obstacles, they're opportunities. But here's the question. Are you embracing those opportunities, or are you running from them? When was the last time you took on a project that scared you? When was the last time you volunteered for something outside your comfort zone? When was the last time you looked at a challenge and thought, "This is my chance to prove myself," instead of, "This is going to be a nightmare"? Let's get even more specific. Think about the last time you faced a major setback at work. Did you crumble under the pressure, or did you use it as fuel to come back stronger? Did you let it define you, or did you redefine it? Because here's the thing. The way you handle resistance says everything about your potential for power. And if you're not using those moments to grow, you're wasting them. Here's the bottom line. Power isn't just for CEOs and politicians. It's for anyone who's willing to play the game. And make no mistake, it is a game. A game of influence, of perception, of strategy. A game where the stakes are your career, your reputation, your future. And the question is, are you playing to win, or are you just watching from the sidelines? Because here's the hard truth. If you're not actively seeking power, you're falling behind. If you're not building alliances, you're leaving your career to chance. If you're not embracing challenges, you're stagnating. And if you're not shaping how others see you, you're letting them define you. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep playing small, hoping someone will notice you? Or are you going to step up, take control, and claim your power? The choice is yours. But remember, in the game of power, there's no middle ground. You're either playing to win, or you're losing. So what's it going to be? The next time you're faced with a challenge, whether it's a tough boss, a toxic workplace, or just the general chaos of life, don't run from it. Embrace it. Use it. Because in the end, power isn't just about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. And that's the ultimate victory. Feeling powerful yet. Good. Now prove it. Like, subscribe, and let's see if you've got the guts to play the game.